Okay, so our first idea is we're going to do a slapstick as if it's Charlie Chaplin in black and white. We're going to recreate most of his ideas. So with the ladder, so to you, to me, he's swinging around and hitting people, and just loads of those. You have to do a bit of research into how to do it and what there was. But that was our first idea. Our second idea, which is what we like the most and what we want to actually make, is it's going to be called Stitches, and it's going to be possibly a teenage male and a teenage female, about 17, 18, 19. They're out walking in the woods, and they get kidnapped and they get their mouths sewn shut, and the kidnapper's in there with them. He's absolutely crazy, and then one of them will get killed, and then they get saved, and the last scene will be a bird's eye view of like paramedics coming in to heal them, and that will be the second idea.
I think one thing you missed out from the second idea was that the way they got saved, because they can't speak, they have to figure out a way of like using Morse code. So they don't have Morse code, but they have to kind of figure out a way of
it's like their own
using it
language
to get across to people.
Okay.
So that's important.
So they communicate via Morse code to the police officers or whoever's on the other side, which we will have. And the way that we will show, so because we won't be able to go, so say if you did ... dash 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 ... which is SOS, not many people might know that. So we'll have it so they write it down, which is allowed. So if they write down, like say, the studio, which is where we are, they'll write down the studio, and then what it is in Morse code, so that the receiver will write down what it is and decode it, and then they will be saved. We plan on filming it at Swinley Forest in Bracknell, because the way the layout of the trees are, it is literally like straight, like a grid, and you can see for so far, and I think that would be a really good concept for how to film it, and we'd film it all at night and then in an abandoned building, because it'll be a very small cast, so like maximum of like 5 or 6 people, and that's including extras.
So our third one was more of a disaster kind of genre theme, about a child and their dad, who basically the world's come to an end, nuclear stuff, blah blah blah. And it's kind of looking at contemplating whether survival's kind of what we live for, but then also is it kind of better to die rather than survive, something like that. And it kind of talks about what's the better option.
So shall we start with the first one?
Yeah, go for it.
Charlie Chaplin. I think your casting will be really, really important, because the way that Charlie could do it, it was very, very physical humour, and you need someone with that kind of sense of fluidity with their own body language and things like that, because if you have someone that's just stiff, it's not going to work. You need someone that has that fluidity within their own body. Or when you look at, say, like Buster Keaton, he also had that almost pantomimic movement with it, which you will need to look into when you're casting. You can't just cast anybody. You need someone that can perform with just their body language.
Yeah, I think a difficulty with that would be you have to find like lots of Charlie Chaplin films were filmed on fake sets as well.
Yeah.
And that'd be incredibly hard to. It wouldn't be possible to recreate it, so that'd be a thing that wouldn't help.
So
I think that could work. Your Charlie Chaplin one, as long as you get the casting right, and the jokes right. You can't really just copy and paste it.
No.
You have to write it yourself.
For the second one, how would you show these mouth stitches?
I know a lot of people that are makeup artists.
Oh right, that's sweet then.
There was a
You
girl.
need like a bit of sellotape and some string.
Shut up.
That's what you need.
One of my best mates, she now
Bit of
does makeup artist, and she has a makeup Instagram, and she's done loads of Halloween stuff. It's really sick. And it's like, I might actually ask if she can do stitches.
When you do that, if I were you, I would do it like show it gradually happening, as opposed to you've got one shot they're all normal, one shot then they've all just got mouths with stitches in, because then everyone's going to be like, hang on a minute, like what did I miss, sort of thing.
You could have like the kidnapper like approaching them with just like a thread and needle.
Yeah, a close up of a thread and
Yeah.
needle could be good.
You could always like cut to black.
Or
and
even a
sound.
prologue of the guy before, and he's just messing around and he's looping, like doing things like putting the thread through the needle and things like that.
we
Just
We could have him like
We could
with
buy-
like
we
we
could
could
buy
buy a
a mannequin.
mask or something, and have him threading it through mouths on masks and stuff.
yeah, because
That could be good.
if
Or
you
you
did
could
that right at the
do-
beginning
yeah.
before they have any idea of what even it's about, then it plants like a little seed in their mind. So
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they'll have that seed, then it will completely move on. They'll forget about that scene even happened, and then when it comes up again, it's like
Yeah.
they remember it and they go,
starting
oh,
it off at the end as well,
Right.
so showing like them in the room screaming for help.
yeah,
The mouse zone. So starting it off like that to kind of set a tone of
Phil.
fear,
Yeah.
and then go back into the nice stuff. So they go, oh well, what's happening now?
Yeah.
And it kind of builds up again. And
That's good as well because that will be really engaging for the audience because immediately as soon as they see that they're going to be like, oh, I wonder what's this, and then they're just going to carry on watching it because
Yeah.
they've seen that something's going to go wrong somewhere along the lines.
Yeah. I think mise en scène will be really
Yeah.
important for that as well.
Yeah.
You need to show that this guy is, you know, really creepy. So you can have like pictures of them around, showing that he's like been stalking them, thread and needle, and you can have like a sewing machine in the background if you're really going for this idea.
yeah.
You know, body bags, things
I
like
think
that.
if
Yeah, I
you
was
show
gonna
as
have-
well that it's been like planned, like you said, a big board with people's faces, and you know they do that thing where like there'll be a map and they circle the points and stuff like that,
Yeah.
like all of that would look really
Or
good.
you could even get like a picture, so get your makeup artist friend to do it on someone else. Just take a picture of them as if they were a dead body, whip up like a fake news article. You could have that pushed into a board to say, you know, 5th victim found with mouth sewn up, to establish this like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fake
there's more of a story.
newspaper sort of thing, like 2 people missing in local in this area sort of thing.
Yeah, you need good camera angles as well to kind of tell what situation
Yeah.
the people are in as well.
definitely.
I think.
So I do plan on making a couple. I was gonna have, so I'd have like a table with a sewing machine, and I'd try and find it so I plug it in, so that it's slowly as if it pin pricks,
Mm-hmm.
and just have that in the middle, have like a scene with that, and then a room, and I'd probably make it myself. I'd get like some balloons or something. I'd cover it in like a bed sheet, spray blood on it, not real blood, but and then chain it up as if it was like as in like a saw.
We need to find like a proper like room that would work.
Yeah, I'm
So
just
obviously you can
there's
do
a
it
place.
in the studio.
There's a place. Do you remember where do you remember when we did Teenage Suicide?
Mm-hmm.
John did the B-roll.
Yeah.
I was thinking there we could have a look at, but
Yeah.
I'd just say to Sarah, Adam, can we have a day and just go
Yeah.
drive around and find places?
Yeah.
But also, like here, you'll be able to get like a sewing machine. Art department
Yeah.
will most likely have one that you could just borrow and just
Yeah.
mess it up and then just wipe. If you just get like fake blood from like, there'll be so much fake blood left over from.
like £6 on Amazon stuff. So
Yeah.
it's not even that.
You can literally. I got fake blood from Sainsbury's for £2 for 2 bottles of it from Sainsbury's for Halloween.
Yeah.
What was your third idea?
It's a disaster, I think.
Oh, yeah,
There
there
was
was
the
a-
disaster of end of the world, a child at their dad.
I think for that, location scouting
Yes.
will be
Yeah.
so key, because obviously if you see a bright, happy neighbourhood,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not post-apocalyptic at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could always do like an interior set as if you made it look like it was some kind of like shelter or something like that.
Yeah. Like a bunker sort of thing.
Yeah.
If you could do that, I mean, you could use like an old shed and do that. Because if you take like a big shed, take all the stuff out, line the inside with like shells of like canned food and stuff like that. You've got
Yeah,
full out shelter.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a shed.
Or what you could do.
You want to be thinking World War
just
II
go
bunker sort of
get
thing.
get a garage. Put it
Yeah.
in a garage.
Yeah, garage. That's good.
Yeah. That
Garage
would
is
be really
pretty big.
important, because obviously if you see in the background it's not, then you ruin the whole illusion regardless of how good your camera work is and stuff like that. It would be really obvious.
Have you seen the film Room? It's like the way it's filmed would be so good if you guys did it like similar to that, where pretty much they're in this. For you guys, it would be they're in this like bunker, and the camera doesn't really like leave the bunker, but because of the way it's filmed, it feels
big,
like it's a
yeah.
big place when really it's not. Like.
Yeah.
And you see the place from every different angle because of the way that the camera's going around it, but It's not at all. And then when they come out of it, and you could have a scene of like the garage doors opening up, you actually realise like how small this place is, but because of the way the camera is, it makes it look really big.
Yeah.
Lighting will also be really important.
Yeah, I think it's dark,
dingy.
dingy,
Yeah,
rustic.
sort
of.
we're going to do all at night.
Yeah.
Okay. But then be careful as well that it doesn't become too grainy.
No.
Yeah.
Unless you could go grainy for artistic reasons, because it looks a bit like nuclear fallout. If you wanted to go.
Even if you were in a dark room and you just had like a bulb, like you want to have a cold feeling to it.
Yeah, I've got the lights in my garage. They're so old. Like
Yeah,
you'll
it's
turn it on and they
flickery.
will flicker
Yeah.
all night.
One up from that would be candles, because if there's nuclear,
Yeah.
Yeah.
probably not really going to have power.
Electricity, yeah.
So you could always go for that
Yeah.
candle.
Lamps.
Lamps.
That's
would be good.
the idea I was going to have, is so that when at the end of the second one, so let's just jump back to that, he's going to be walking around and I'm going to get like in Sherlock, the Abominable Bride, he's walking around with a lantern, have that, and that's what I'll be.
Is your target audience the 25 to 40?
Yeah.
Another thing
it's
you
a
could
horror
do
movie,
though
horror.
as well is like, you know how sometimes when people are watching things and they see things that they don't want to see, but it's more effective because it's like you're kind of being forced to like see things. Like you could even do, when you think about it, the living conditions of like living in somewhere like a bunker or whatever, literally get a bucket, put it in the corner, and like say it's like present it as like the toilet, and like that's one of those things where people watching they go ugh, but it's actually like really effective because it gets such a strong message across of like how they're actually like slumming it.
Yeah, definitely.
Which one do you think is the best?
I like the second one. I think if
Is
you,
that the Stitches one?
yeah,
Yeah,
I think if you do that well, that could be properly creepy because it's not
Yeah.
stereotypical in any way.
I
It's
think
actually
you
quite
could tell a
nice
story
idea.
as well. It'd be, I think if you're like a nuclear fallout, you'd be talking as well. It'd be weird not to talk, and I think dialogue. The fact that there's no dialogue would kind of be a weird
Yeah,
thing. That
I
they
mean,
go, why is it not that?
you could do it like a quiet place, but obviously without
That's,
copying.
yeah,
that's
it.
literally basically yeah.
But that's why I think the second one would probably
Yeah,
work best.
no, I agree, yes.
And if you get like your serial killer, you could always wear something like a mask to explain why he's not talking
I
to
think a
them,
mask
which
would be
could
a
make
good-
him.
Yeah.
a twist that you could have is
He's got
rather
the
than he's got it, and he could put a like a bandana sort of thing around his mouth, and then you can literally and just see the starts of it of what is going on.
Yeah.
Or you could always go for like a medical mask, or
Yeah.
like you know the things that painters wear, where it's got like the two filters on it. That could also
Yeah.
look quite creepy if you put like some blood on it,
Yeah.
things like that.
The other thing is on that one, depending, I don't know what you guys are thinking on how you would present the paramedics, but I think that you could. I think you could go.
Paramedic, and he
Oh.
has loads of jackets. So I'd literally just be like, alright, as the cameraman, chuck his jacket on, I'll chuck one on, and he literally, it'll be a bird's eye view.
But
You could use archive footage
Yeah.
of like an ambulance weaving through traffic.
Well, I've got videos from when I did my documentary
Oh,
of the
right.
helicopter taking off in London
But-
that I own.
paramedics would not be first on scene.
No.
Police would.
Police would, yeah, that's true.
So you can have paramedics, but you also need to have. I mean, paramedics aren't going to kick down a door and come stop a serial killer. So you'd also need to have some kind of authoritative force in that as well, whether that
Yeah.
be police or.
Detective,
teams.
Yeah,
there'd be a detective
You
on
could
the
always go
scene.
for like a private investigator kind of vibe if you wanted, but I'd say if you just have paramedics, it wouldn't make much sense.
I think if you
Or even
did
if,
that right, then that would be a really, really good
Yeah,
production.
I think that'd be really solid.
But I think that you need to be really clever in the way that you present it all, because it could be one of those things where if you don't do it in the right way, it could all just be a bit of like, not like a joke, but just a bit of like, it could look really messy.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do it, if you look at the scenes that are going to require the most amount of attention and you get them right, then you'll be sweet
Yeah.
and good to go with that.
I'd rank it horror film, post-apocalyptic film, Charlie Chaplin film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
I think the Charlie Chaplin
It-
one
it
is
was-
great if it works, but I just think it'd
I
be.
think it'd be so difficult to cast.
Um,
Should we start?
Yeah, first one, Can't Help Falling in Love, Elvis Presley.
Yeah, classic.
Just a basic romance story,
Mhm.
literally.
Kind of boy meets girl,
Yeah,
they fall in love, get married.
they're in love, maybe one of them dies or something along those
Mhm.
lines, or dies from childbirth maybe.
Yeah.
That's a good one actually.
I think.
But
Yeah, I
that would
think
be
Filming
very
that would
difficult to
be
film.
awful. Yeah.
I think everyone, like, there's so much like, oh, she dies of cancer, she dies, like, she gets a
Yeah.
car crash.
I mean,
no one does, you very rarely see people dying because they give birth. I think that would be quite effective.
you could always suggest that by showing through the story that she's obviously getting more and more pregnant through becoming larger, and then you could have him come home with a baby,
On his own.
yeah, on his own.
Yeah.
And then like the last scene could be like the marriage with finger, and then it, like, because you can get those, you can get like plastic hands where that have rings on,
Mhm.
and then you could have like hers, and like he puts her wedding ring on her jewelry set, and then like he closes it, and as he closes it, it's like cut to black,
Mhm.
and that's the end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a sad one.
Oh, it's just
Yeah.
sad.
What's
What
your
yours?
second one?
We haven't chosen the music for the second one. We've just got the story.
Which is
So yeah, we haven't found any music that would fit it yet, which is something we'd have to look at, do more research on.
Mhm.
But I think kind of like someone that feels like the whole world's just moving around them and they're not really in the world, they're just kind of
Stuck.
wondering, yeah, why like they're being ignored basically, and they're kind of watching the world evolve as
Mhm.
they kind of feel like they're by themselves. Yeah, that's it'd be quite a simple one to do,
yeah.
but
You could do things like a hyperlapse of them just stood somewhere in the whole world moving around them, but they're
Yeah.
stationary.
Yeah. Time lapse.
I think the hardest
In
thing
a-
to be
Being in a crowd, people
create
moving
a
around.
story would be hard, and that is the only thing.
Yeah.
You kind of have to. Cause you couldn't just have one guy walking around by himself. It wouldn't.
Yeah, there's no story there.
there's no-
Also, the audience are going to be, when they're watching it, they're going to be asking questions to themselves, like, why is this person like that? Like, what has happened prior to this? And
Yeah.
if you were to, like, develop the narrative more, then you could try and present that in, like, a subtle way, rather than, like, being like, okay, so this has happened, and this is why this person is like this. If you just literally had, like, little hints here and there, it would literally be so effective, I think, in a narrative.
So it's very similar. It's more about kind of someone.
What, do you have a song?
No,
Okay.
I'm a British fan of things. It's more about someone seeing other people and kind of how someone, like, they're content in life, but they see other people doing stuff and think, why can't that be me? So it's not the fact that they're lonely, but it's the fact that they kind of feel like everyone's having a better time than they are.
Is it Jealousy by Will Young? That might work.
Yeah, that's a good song.
Well,
Have a look at that.
So they
it's
kind of,
based about him.
the
just
second
being
and third
jealous.
one, they're very similar ideas, but the story's kind of like completely different, and they kind of
Mhm.
go for different emotions.
So, what were they all in on? So it was kind of falling in love,
Yeah.
being a loner, and being jealous.
Yeah.
I quite like the falling in love one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably your best one because you've got a song and a story fitting together.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think when you've got a song and a story, you can start creating it in your head and thinking, oh yeah, that would look really good, or this would look good at this point in the song, and all that sort of
Mhm.
stuff.
And I think having that twist at the end would be a really good.
Unexpected. I think with that song, and when you're watching a music video that is a really happy, clappy love story, if it took a turn for the worst, you would be really unexpected. And also, because your target audience is the 25 to 40-year-olds, like, that's an older song, and, like, the people
Yeah,
watching it are
yeah.
going to know that
yeah,
song.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you did want to bring more modern, there is a version of that by Michael
there's
Bublé.
loads,
And there's a one by 21 Pilots.
Yeah, there's there's hundreds.
Yeah.
Of
I think
recreations.
finding the right
But I think
version of the song is
Doing
important.
it Elvis brings that kind of warmth to it that
Yeah,
it is.
it's like a
Yeah,
classic.
When you listen to that,
sad,
like,
but
modern
it's got
version.
the warmth,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's the thing, is that because it's got that soft piano to it, doesn't it, as well?
Mm.
That almost kind of sets up a foreshadowing of the ending. Because if you did want to extend the ending, you could take that initial piano riff and put it to the end too.
I think also though, if because the piano's all the way through it, you could not show a piano or anything like that at all, and then obviously when the audience sees that the woman's died, you could literally just have a scene of him by himself playing the piano,
Yeah.
and like that would look really effective. I think.
So the first one.
I'd say first,
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
I'd go the Stitches
Stitches,
Yeah.
short film and the that.